This channel exists for one reason: to help men who feel stuck get unstuck. Not hyped up, but not shamed. Not managed, built. Most men are not stuck because they lack strength. They're stuck because they're avoiding something. Avoiding a conversation, avoiding a wound, avoiding a truth, avoiding what they actually feel. And what you avoid does not disappear. It gets stored. And whatever gets stored eventually controls you. If you're ready to stop drifting, if you're ready to stop managing the image and start building the inner man, stay with me. Let's get to work. This episode sits between the two others for a reason. On Thursday, we dealt with the why avoidance weakens men, why silence drains your vitality, and why what you refuse to face eventually governs you. That is formation work. That's identity work. That is where spiritual and psychological realities meet. On Tuesday, I'm going to give you the how to stay present under the emotional load, how to regulate instead of suppress, and how to move with intention instead of drifting aimlessly. But today is different. Today is the what. What is actually happening inside of you? What are you really avoiding? Where's the leak? Where's the erosion? This is a mentoring meeting, a coaching session, not a performance, not theory, but diagnosis. Because you cannot get unstuck if you cannot correctly identify where you are stuck. So today we slow down. We examine what's under the mask. We face what's actually happening, and we call it what it is. And then on Tuesday, we build a structure to bring and maintain stability. So I'm going to ask you some coaching questions. Don't answer quickly. Answer honestly. And if you need to pause and think about it for a minute, that's probably a good move. So answer honestly. Where do you say, "No, I'm fine," but deep down, you know you aren't fine at all? Where does your patience disappear faster than it should? And what conversation have you put off more than twice? Where do you feel irritation but call it tired? Where do you feel fear but call it thinking? Where do you feel shame but call it motivation? Psalm 32 says, "My vitality was drained." Not my calendar, not my workload, not my abilities, my vitality. Where is your vitality draining? Avoidance doesn't burst onto the scene and announce itself. It leaks slowly. And most stuck men are leaking energy without ever realizing why. In coaching, I hear this a lot. "Oh, it's nothing. It's not that big of a deal. It'll pass. I'm good, really. I'm good." No, you're not. You're contained. You're pushing everything down. You're bottling it all up. Containment isn't regulation. It's storage. And stored emotion becomes pressure. And pressure shows up in a number of ways. Maybe for you, it's getting short with the people that you love. Maybe it's withdrawing from people that you love. Maybe it's sarcasm, overworking, scrolling, porn, anger that feels disappropriate, emotional distance in your marriage and other relationships. And over time, that distance, that becomes the real issue. When you keep containing instead of processing, you don't just store emotion, you actually begin to edit yourself. You present the calm version, the controlled version, the acceptable version. And here's what I see all the time. If you're not really being you in the relationship, you're not really in the relationship at all. The edited version of you is. And intimacy cannot grow where honesty is absent. This is the hard truth. If you're not really being you in the relationship, then you're not really in the relationship. It's the edited version, the calm version, the controlled, acceptable version, but not the real one. And intimacy can't grow where honesty is absent. That's how men become successful, but isolated. Busy, but stuck. Let me coach you directly. Right now, what emotion do you constantly dismiss? Is it anger? Fear? Maybe it's grief. Embarrassment? Jealousy? Loneliness? Pick one. Now here's the second question. What has that emotion been costing you? Has it been costing you sleep? Has it been costing you connection, confidence, clarity? Has it been damaging your leadership? Look, men don't implode from emotion. They implode from repressed or suppressed emotion because avoidance feels safer. But freedom lives in truth. And truth rarely feels safe at first because you're exposing yourself. But exposure is the beginning of becoming unstuck. Avoidance is rarely dramatic. Sometimes it even looks positive. You're staying productive, staying busy. You're distracted, intellectual, theological, funny. But you're never honest. You can be quoting scripture and still be avoiding yourself. You can lead publicly and avoid privately. You can build muscle and still lack emotional strength. Your body keeps the score. Your relationships keep the score. Your nervous system keeps the score. And eventually it shows up in your leadership and in every relationship you have. Look, unstuck men do not run from internal pressure. They face it. I'm not giving you the full tactical structure today. We'll build that out on Tuesday. But today's pretty simple. I want to give you one move. Identify the emotion you have been minimizing and say it out loud. Say it clearly. I'm not stressed. I'm afraid of failing. I'm not stressed. I'm feeling disrespected. I'm not stressed. I'm grieving. I'm not angry. I'm embarrassed. I'm lonely. Now ask, what's one honest action that aligns with reality? Send the text message. Schedule the talk. Admit it to your wife. Set the boundary. Make the appointment. Stop pretending. Do one thing, and do it calmly. Not 10 things, one thing. One small, honest action that breaks through the avoidance. Because breaking the avoidance is how stuck men get unstuck. You're not weakened by emotion. You're weakened by avoidance. Men who avoid discomfort grow smaller. Men who face the discomfort grow steadier. Look, strength isn't the absence of feeling. It's the refusal to run from the feelings, the refusal to hide from the feelings, the refusal to ignore what you're really feeling. It's refusing to minimize the feelings that you have. Thursday was the why. Today was the what. On Tuesday, we'll build the how. But today, stop running. Face one thing, make one move, and begin building the inner man. Because this channel exists for one reason, to help men who feel stuck get unstuck. Get unstuck.